It's Tuesday, I'm Sid, and I'm here to ruin your childhood on
Talking Threads.
In Pokemon Red, you kill Gary's Raticate. When you meet Gary on the SS Anne, you fight his party, which contains a Raticate. The next time you see Gary, it's in Lavender Town, wherein he asks you if you know how it feels to ever have experienced the death of a Pokemon. From that point on in the game, you never see his Raticate again. Continuing on the theme of Pokemon, it's very clear that Ditto is a failed clone of Mew. Both Pokemon have the same coloration, both in their normal incarnations and their shinies. They both weigh 4 kilograms, and you first find Ditto in the mansion where you learn about the attempts to clone Mew. The information that you read states that there were many failed attempts to clone Mew before finally succeeding in creating Mewtwo. In some versions, it's even stated that the only way that they could successfully clone Mew was to impregnate it. Moving on from Pokemon to post-apocalyptic cartoons, I'd like to point out that the Jetsons universe is nowhere near the idyllic utopia that they'd like to portray. Yeah, I mean, it's not all 9-hour work weeks and dog-walking treadmills that are for some reason on the outside of the house, which is thousands of feet in the air. The reason that the Jetsons live in the sky is because it is the only place left. In the Jetsons movie, there's a scene where Rosie the robot lifts the house above the planetary smog. And in The Jetsons Meet the Flintstones, there is a scene where Elroy asks his father what grass is. George Jetson replies that he only knows about grass because he learned it in ancient history, implying that the Earth has been ravaged for many years. Oh, and it's already been stated that Adventure Time takes place in the post-apocalypse, and that the reason that Finn is the only human left is because everybody else died in nuclear fallout. Speaking of lovable cartoons, there is always the often forgotten storyline in Garfield, where he's actually just hallucinating while he starves to death, and his entire life is all in his head. Which isn't even a theory, that was published. Belle from Beauty and the Beast exhibits a lot of signs of schizoid personality disorder, which is characterized by a lack of ability to identify with people, a lack of interest in forming human relationships and bonds, and a tendency towards identifying with and forming relationships with inanimate objects or animals. So in fact, when the Beast turns into a prince at the end of the movie, that would be her worst nightmare. Finally, before I go, I'd like to remind you that Judith Barcy, the girl who played Ducky in Land Before Time, is dead. Enjoy your nostalgia!